Hi everybody, welcome to Stamping with Melva. I'm Melva Peters, and today I want to show you how to make a double fan fancy fold card. I'm going to be using the Forever Fern bundle as well as the Forever Greenery Designer Series paper on this card. So let me just switch over to my desktop and we'll get started. Okay, so here's my card. This is what it looks like when you pull it out of the envelope. So it will sit like that, but it'll also stand up very nicely. Not that you can see that. As I said, I've used the Forever Fern bundle on this with the Forever Greenery Designer Series paper. I absolutely love this paper. These two outer ones, this Designer Series paper is my absolute favorite of all. So you can see that all of the folding and scoring are on the outside two pieces. I've used Pretty Peacock as the back, or as the card base. Okay, so let me just move the card out of the way and let me bring in my trimmer. You're absolutely going to need a trimmer for this, and you're going to need a bone folder. If you prefer, you can use your scoring tool. I just find that trimmer works well for me, so I'm going to use my trimmer. Now, I've cut half of a piece of cardstock, so this is 8.5 by 5.5, and we just need to trim 1/4 of an inch off. So what you need for this card is actually a piece of cardstock that is 5.5 by 8.25. Then we're going to score this at 2 3/4. Make sure I'm scoring and not cutting. 2 3/4 and at 5.5. Okay, so now I've got my 3 sections to the card. The other score that we're going to do, and we can do that, is to score it at 1 3/8. So we're really going to score this first section in half, and then again at 6 7/8. Okay, so now we actually have these two outside sections divided in half. So now we need to put diagonal scores in. So the way I do it is I line up the point, the top edge, the top point with this second score line. So I put the point and that second score line in the track of my trimmer, and then just score up through, and then just rotate it and do exactly the same thing, putting the bottom point and this second score line in the center of the track. And now I'm not sure you can see this, now we have scores in the diagonal and one down the middle. We're going to do the same on this other side. So line up the point with the second score mark. Oops, make sure it's in the center of the track. And the same this way. All right. So now that's all. I'm going to put our trimmer off to the side or behind me. Okay. So what you want to do is so if I bring my card back in, so let's start by folding on folding these sections in place. Again, use your bone folder. All right, and then you want to score or to fold and use your bone folder to give it a nice crease. So on each of the score lines. So, and again. Okay, we'll do the same on this side. So you're just folding on the score lines and using your bone folder just to give it a nice crease. So when this goes together, you can see when I bring this back in, the top and the bottom pieces, so these are going to come in like this. let's get this going. So it kind of almost naturally wants to go that way. So if you take, so I'll do that again, just you're gonna pinch these to come forward, and then it will just kind of fold behind. Okay. So again, what I did was I took these two, pinched them forward, fold it kind of over, and then just give it a crease with the bone folder. So that's kind of the extent of how you actually put the card together. So the next part is all about cutting the designer series paper. So again, my trimmer, I've cut a lot of this out in advance. So I've cut 3 pieces of designer series paper, and these are cut to be 2 5/8 by 5 3/8. Again, this went live on my blog today, so I will put the link to my blog post below the video when I post it, so that you can go back and see. There will be written instructions there with all the measurements in it, and so that you can reference it. So if you didn't get the measurements written down, that's okay. Just go back to my blog post. Now, one thing you do want to be aware of, if your designer series paper goes a particular direction, so mine kind of goes that way, just make sure that you're cutting it so that you've got the directions going the correct way. Now, with this trimmer, you can actually cut 2 pieces of designer series paper. So you can maybe see, I've cut this designer series paper to fit in each of the triangles that are created by the folding, the scoring and the folding. So to do that, it's a bit like what we did when we did the scoring. So you're going to take this and cut this. Now, again, line up your points with the center of the track. And this time, instead of scoring, we're going to cut. Now, hold that together and do the same going in the opposite direction. So this will give you 4 triangles. Okay, so that's what you end up with. So these 2 triangles are the size they need to be. So I'm going to move those off to the side. Now these top triangles, what you want to do is line your point up. So I just take it and push it up against the top. Oh, let me bring that down. Push it up against the top, and then line up the point in the center of the track, and we're going to cut, and that will give us two triangles that look like that. So just move those off to the side, and we're going to do the same on the bottom ones. Again, I just turn these around, push this up tight against the track so it's lined up and even, and then cut. All right, so these actually went that way. So let me just take, oops, these, get my trimmer out of the way. And then it's just a matter of putting these pieces. Now I've got some Stampin' Seal. You can use, if you prefer, you can use the multi-purpose adhesive glue, but let me just show you how these go. Okay, so this piece goes like this. Oops, this piece will go like this. These 2 pieces go like that. And those 2 pieces will go like that. So it's just really a matter of adhering all of these pieces in. So again, those go there. So this is where if your designer series paper has a direction to it that matters, you definitely want to make sure that that you are paying attention to that. So I'm just going to take my Stampin' Seal. If you've got a silicone mat, which of course I didn't bring over with me, it helps a lot because you do want to get down to the point. And if you use your silicone mat, you won't get your adhesive all over your grid paper like I'm going to do. Okay, so then it's just adhering it into the the shape of the triangle. And again, oops, let's put this. Okay, now these two pieces. So make sure you get them kind of going in the right direction. I keep them in their spot as I put this together so I don't mix them up. Oops. Let's just see a little sliver of the pretty peacock between that, and that's kind of what you want. Okay. So just a lot of pieces to kind of get into their right spots. If you wanted to, I'm using the same designer series paper on each end. You could use the same designer series paper on all of the sections. So I'm going to use a different one here. So let's put that in. It's really whatever you prefer. I just thought it was awfully busy in the center when I used the same designer series paper. So we'll just adhere that one down. And then we'll take these pieces off because now it's the same as I did on the other end. We're just going to put these two pieces in. Again, if you wanted to use the multi-purpose adhesive glue, you certainly can. It's a little bit more forgiving and gives you a little bit of wiggle room to if you kind of don't get it in the right spot. But I can find that I can usually, if I do it quick enough, I can get the Stampin' Seal off as well. So that, now let's get these going in the right, where that one's like that. Okay. And there. Okay. Oops. And this goes there. And one more. One there. Okay, last piece. And then it's just a matter of decorating your card. I did cut, I've got a piece of Whisper White. There's really no room to write on this, so I cut a piece of Whisper White. This is the same measurement as the these other pieces of designer series paper. So again, this is 2 5/8 by 5 3/8. And I'm just going to put this on the back, and that gives you a spot to write your message to whoever you're going to give your card to. All right, so I actually went ahead and cut out some pieces. Oops, this is using the, here, let's see what I've got. This is the Forever Fern stamp set. So I've stamped this image in Pretty Peacock and then 2 of these, so 2 of those in Pretty Peacock and one of each of these going in the 2 different directions in Old Olive. So that's kind of the colors I'm using, a Pretty Peacock and Old Olive. And I've cut 2 pieces. This is one of the dies. So these are cut out of vellum cardstock. And I have, oops, I have my my Forever Gold all kind of nicely organized here. So I'm just going to see, I'm going to find one of these. Oops, must be in here. I know I have some there. Oh no, that's the right one. Okay, so one of these pieces that will go on the front of the card. I love these, the specialty laser cut, the gold. Not only is it gold on one side, it's white on the other. So if you don't want gold on every card, you can use white. You can also color these with your markers or Stampin' Blends, and they take on the color perfectly. So you can make these whatever color you want them to be. All right, so I'm going to actually use gold. And then I've got this lovely ribbon. So this is, I said, this is the ribbon that comes, this is the Forever Greenery ribbon combo. So it comes in this very vanilla, as well as it comes with a gold twine. I'm not going to use the gold twine, but it's a ribbon combo. So I'm just going to add, just cut. So this is, I'm going to cut this to be about, let's see how much, about 6 inches. So I'm going to cut 2 pieces, about 6 inches. And I'm going to just fold it in half. I'm going to take a little bit of Stampin' Seal. This is all going to be hidden, and just kind of put this ribbon there. And the same, I will trim this when I get the card done. This will kind of poke up at the top. Okay. And then I'm just going to use some Stampin' Seal on the back of this. I don't want this to be too thick, and so I am going to pop up the other pieces. So we'll just put this, adhere this down with Stampin' Seal in there. Okay, now, as I said, I've cut these, gone ahead and stamped. So I've stamped these 2 pieces in Pretty Peacock and these 2 pieces in Old Olive. So I'm going to use glue dots. Let's see. I'm going to use glue dots, and I'm going to, I have a sentiment that I cut out. This is one of the, this is one of the ones, I think these are from the Stitch Rectangle. So that's going to be the top. So these will all just kind of go underneath. So if I lay this here, you get a sense of where these will go. So it's just a matter of arranging however you want your leaves to show underneath. Now, where did my, oh, here they are. These are the bigger leaves. Actually, I think I'm going to pull out another, some of the smaller, littler is not a word, I'm sure. The smaller leaves out of here, maybe some of these, and we'll just use a couple of these to fill in and add a little bit more detail. You get a lot of these, a lot of these leaves on labels from a package. Okay, now I'm going to cut this in half. So this piece almost looks like half of a wreath. Okay, so let's go like this. So we'll just put that on. And then adhere these down. So I'm just using glue dots to kind of adhere these leaves. And here's my other piece. And let's see. 1, 2. Okay. So you can put as much or as little on as you want to fill the space. I don't know, some of this, sometimes I want the bigger ones. Okay. All right, so cut some of these dimensionals. I'm out of. All right, so we're just going to use dimensionals on on the back of this sentiment label. Maybe one in the middle so it doesn't collapse. Sometimes if you don't have a dimensional in the middle kind of sags on your label, which I don't like. Right. And then that's my thanks right in the middle. Okay, now let me just trim and trim my ribbon a little bit. Okay, so there's the card, and again, it will once it's been folded, and definitely once it's been in the envelope, it will go together and stay in the shape. But okay, let me just take it and kind of press it in. All right, so the last thing I want to do, I'm just going to take and stamp using Pretty Peacock, and I'm just going to put one of these leaves or pods, I'm not sure exactly what they are, right there on the back of the card, and that's where I will write my note to whoever I send this card to, this thank you card to. Okay, so that's my card. Again, you can just put a book on it or just kind of hold it in spot. Like I said, it will keep its shape once it's been in the envelope. And but you don't really want it to lay flat. It just shows it off like that. So let me just switch back. There we go. There we go. So I hope you enjoyed that. As I said, I will post the link to my blog that has the written instructions on it, as well as all the supplies that I used on this card. So you'll be able to see the supplies I used. And all of the measurements will be there as well. So I hope you enjoyed my video. I hope that you'll take the opportunity to subscribe to my YouTube channel and check out any of the videos that I have posted and anything that I will post going forward. So thanks very much for joining me. Bye, everybody.